I'm going to be asking you a question away from the economy to a bit of controversy regarding following the rule of law or not the rule of law, specifically about Nnamdi Kanu, also about Governor Emefiele, as well as Abdulrasheed Bawa. So we have the challenge with IPOB, the CBN governor, and the EFCC. And where is our president's body language concerning how to resolve this in a way that still complies with the rule of law?
Very much. First of all, thank you for your appreciation of the humble work that I do. But let me say that we should also be mindful not to underestimate the capacity of our people by accident. Because I think there's a tendency to think that maybe because of the fluidity of how I speak, that people are not understanding me. I can assure you, my sister, in the marketplace, when people comment on what they see on TVC channels, when they hear me on radio, I speak the same way. They understand what I'm saying. In fact, I intentionally go in to do Q&As where I'm taking direct questions in real time from Nigerians. And when I do that, they show me. They may not sound like me. They may not have the oratorical gift that God has given me in some cases, right? But by their response, I can tell that they fully understand what I'm saying. Nigerians are very brilliant people. Even those who did not have the privilege that some of us had to go and go all the way through university education and all of that, they still have the innate brilliance to be able to understand the level of discussion that we're having. So that's on the one hand. On the other hand, let me say that on the issue of how we can, on the issue of the rule of law, I think that on the various, if you take one case at a time of the individuals you mentioned, you find that there are legal processes that are playing out in each of those cases. So, for example, you cite Emefiele, for example. That process is currently on appeal. All right, so it's under appeal. It's not as if there's some judgment hanging somewhere that is not being challenged, and somebody is just being kept in a box somewhere. That's not what the situation is. Then in the case of Nnamdi Kanu, that is something where you have a lot of obviously political intrigue and the like. We know the history of that case. We know that President Muhammadu Buhari tried the political solution, right? Where you had, I'm not going to mention names, but Nigerians know that there was a serving senator who's still in the Senate who made himself a surety to Nnamdi Kanu at that time, saying, look, nothing will happen. This guy is going to be safely in his house, and I can assure you with my name that as a surety that he's going to be in his house. What now happened? He went to Europe, and then the next thing we know, he's in Europe doing radio message, ordering the burning down of even your office while you guys were in the studio preparing to get to work. Your office was getting burnt down on the orders of somebody who was from Europe, who was supposed to have been out on bail and all of that. The point here is that there are processes playing out. Some people want a political solution to that. Other people want the legal process to play out. And we'll see how Mr. President decides to go about that. But clearly, Mr. President is very much aware of the fact that there is a need to allow the legal process to play out, and he fully understands the history of that particular case. In the case of the former EFCC chairman, it's the same thing. There's no, to my knowledge, judgment saying this must happen or that must happen, and it's not being challenged in the court. So let's allow the legal processes to play out. I always advise Nigerians as much as possible to try and tamp down sentiment and emotion when we are assessing issues that are black and white in terms of law, in terms of how processes should play. Because as a society, our tendency is on one hand to say, we want systems to work. We want institutions to work. We don't want strongmen. We don't want this. We don't want that, right? We have that position. But then as a society, you follow the public analysis and you find out that the same Nigerians who are asking for strong institutions and for processes to play out, irrespective of political interference, are now championing the cause of political interference, saying that the institutions, no, they shouldn't work. We like this guy's face. Oh, he's from this region, so we should make sure that, oh, he's our kinsman, so legal process and institution shouldn't matter again. We should go and interfere and show that we're more powerful than the institution. What do we want? Where do we want to go to? There should be integrity to where, in terms of our arguments, in terms of what we want as a society. And this is the challenge that all of us should agree that, look, if we're going to build our institutions, let's agree that we're building it. But let's not pick and choose when we want institutions to work and when we want big man politicians to interfere in those processes.